There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another random DOS game show. And it's a Lucasfilm Games game! Isn't that exciting? And those who know the theme will know exactly what this is. You ready? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So I played the action version of this game not that long ago, actually. And somebody said to me, when are you going to play the adventure game? I hope you do it soon. And I was like, alright, okay then, I will. I think it was somebody on Twitter, actually. So if you're watching this, here you go. There's Indy having fun. Okay, we're in Barnett College, 1938, New York. That's a nice setting of the scene. And there's not much music here. And it doesn't appear to be any voice acting either. Probably because of the age of the game. So he's got the Cross of the Coronado. I believe that was mentioned in the adventure game. Is this straight tied into the adventure game? Yeah, Indy, why are you wet? Okay, so right off the bat, the graphics aren't as good as Fate of Atlantis. The soundtrack isn't as good. And that's fourth wall breaking. Hello, I'm Indiana Jones. We know Indiana Jones. Alrighty, let's see how we go. So he's got some interesting sound effects. And we can walk to the boxing ring. Not in my good suit. I'd get it all wrinkled and sweaty. So I can already tell what this is with the guy punching in the middle there. This is the combat tutorial. So we'll use the boxing. No. Huh. Can we talk to the boxer? Doesn't appear to be the case. Can we get changed in the locker room? Yes, we can. Alright, Indy. Let's do it. Okay. Hi, Dr. Jones. Would you like me to spar with you? Alright, so there's a difficulty level as well based on your choice. Go easy on me, let's have a good workout. Let me have it. Okay, just go easy on me. Okay. So, this is interesting. Because I was told by a certain FAQ, oh, if you use the numpad, that will totally work. The numpad doesn't appear to be doing anything, and the mouse doesn't appear to be doing anything. I am playing this in ScumVM though, so you know what it was? The numlock. So I'm getting absolutely pummeled here, which is fine. So what you can do is you can move back and forward. You can guard with the middle. You see the way he adjusts his stance there? And then you punch with the ones on the right hand side. It's not the best systems. The Fate of Atlantis system was much better. You know, I nearly beat him. I nearly beat the boxing coach, but you know, 10 minutes later, yes, we got knocked out. We were embarrassing. Want to go again? You just knocked me out, man. I think I'll pass. It's not the best of systems, as I just said a second ago. And the problem with The Last Crusade is that, unfortunately, it will always be compared to Fate of Atlantis, which is one of my favourite DOS games of all time. So, let's open this door, shall we? Oh, a classroom. Students, please be patient. I'm sure Dr. Jones will be back soon. Okay. Wow. There's some serious rioting going on. And the sub-teacher has had enough. She's collapsed. Here I am. Irene, what's happening here? Oh, Dr. Jones, I'm so glad you're back. Yes, Indiana. The students are upset. I guess we should talk to them. Talk to students. Let's see. Excuse me. Out of my way, kids. Perhaps you should all find another... just a moment. I'm sure we can work something out. Yeah. Please relax. I have a solution that is fair for everyone. Yeah, that'll work. Well, as long as there's a fair way. Yeah, take down the names. I'll see everyone in order. Okay, so it's basically teaching you the conversation system. And then... it's that Sam and Max. Look at that. I love when LucasArts reference their own games. Oh, wow. That's a lot of junk mail. Pick up junk mail. Letters. Papers. Oh, what's that? Package. Open package. This looks important, but I'll leave this other junk here. It's my father's Grail diary. Okay. Let's look at the Grail diary. I don't see anything pertinent right now. Okay. So, fortunately, at this point, instead of being horribly confused, I do have an FAQ next to me. So, you can apparently open the right window and go outside. I would not have thought of that. You know, I would have just used the door like a normal person. But Indy wants to escape. Dr. Jones, come with us, please. Well, that's never a good sign when somebody says that to you. Okay. So we're off in one of those glorious 30s cars. And okay, we're at somebody else's place now. It was an unorthodox method of introduction. Walter Donovan. Yes, you did inconvenience me. I know who you are, Mr. Donovan. Your contributions to the museum... Ah, right, so he's a wealthy patron of the museum, right. Okay. Like yourself, I have a passion for antiquities. Is this just the movie? Because The Last Crusade was an Indiana Jones movie. This could be playing the movie relatively straight, which is interesting. Okay, so we have a cutscene. The cutscene has no music, and it has no voice acting. And that's unfortunate. It just came about at that time, right before Lucasfilm became LucasArts. So can we skip on? We can. Right. So I probably need to briefly talk about the genre. This is a point-and-click adventure game for those who don't know what they are. Essentially, you're given an area like this, and you have to interact with it by using a series of verbs, and that's your menu there of what you can do. You can walk about. It's an evolution of the text parser and graphical text parsers of the 80s. They had just started to sort of do this sort of scrolling EGA/VGA style, but they hadn't brought in the proper music and the voice acting yet. So it's a bit Spartan, unfortunately. Okay. Do we go in here or not? Let's I'm just having a little look at the FAQ here. Nearly said the ARC. the Ark, different Indiana Jones. There's probably a way to travel. But I couldn't tell you how. Let's go back to that window, shall we? See if there's anything in our office. I mean, there is a lot of stuff in our office. A lot of stuff. And I do see certain artifacts that are later referenced in The Fate of Atlantis, which is nice, I guess. So, it says, in the office, use the sticky tape on the jar. But the problem is that we were meant to go to Henry's house, and we somehow have ended up in Barnet College, which is not where we wanted to be. Possibly because I went ahead and skipped like an idiot. So this could be a very, very short playthrough of The Last Crusade as a result. Unless, look, there's a travel button. Let's go to Henry's house. Whoa, what a mess. I wonder what they were looking for. So they were after the Grail Diary as well. Okay. Hey, there's something in the fridge, right? Open the fridge. After seeing this mess, I'd rather leave it alone. Now, there doesn't appear to be a mouse over, which is unfortunate. And somebody has decided to fly a plane overhead, and I can't talk to Chuck the plant, which is disappointing. Yet more books. He's a well-read man. So apparently we're to pull the bookcase on the right side of the room to make it fall over, according to the FAQ. Medieval European history. Right. That's the dresser. That's probably not it. Pull yet more books. These are books Dad used to read while falling asleep. Okay. There we go. Now, that was not intuitive at all. And the problem, I keep saying the problem, but I mean, it's an age thing. It's an age thing. There's no mouse over tooltip. So that tiny pixel there is what you're meant to find. And you're meant to go pick up to that tiny pixel on the back of that bookshelf that you pulled under. Not the most intuitive of things. So apparently we can just walk to the door to get out, which is nice, I guess. But it's nice that the travel option is there. I mean, they did it better in the later games, the travel, I think. But, you know, it simplifies things, having it there instead of having to crawl to the edge of a particularly large map, you know? Okay, so there's a jar in the middle shelf. Sorry I'm laughing so much. It's just something that was done so often. It's like adventure game logic. It seems to be working. Hey, there's a key in there. Like, how on earth, from all this junk, were you meant to know that it was that jar in particular? Like, because your mouse does nothing, you know? It doesn't hover over anything. So that's somewhat disappointing, but it is what it is. And the lack of music is really, really hurting it. I wouldn't mind the lack of voice acting. That's fine. You know, it's unfortunate when some point-and-click adventure games aren't voice acted, but the lack of music is... I wish somebody like Clint Bajakian, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, apologies, Clint, could have come along and rescored this for a CD version and maybe had, Doug come in and do his Indiana Jones impression. You know, around the time Fate of Atlantis was released on CD, it would have made a real difference, you know? Anyway, let's go to the plane to Venice. And hey, we've got some music. So let's go via Newfoundland. Hey, there's the Azores. We can go meet Mr. Costa. That's a reference to Fate of Atlantis, folks. Hello. Venice. How are we supposed to recognize our contact, Dr. Schneider? Maybe he'll recognize us. Dr. Jones? Yes. I knew it was you. You have your father's eyes. And my mother's ears, but the rest belongs to you. Looks like the best parts have already been spoken for. Marcus Brody? That's right. I'm Dr. Elsa Schneider. A woman? My goodness, what a twist. Could you tell me about my father's disappearance? Of course, we were working in the library when it happened. I'll show you. Yes, to the library, to the book depository. While Marcus takes a nice relaxing gondola ride. Fine, Marcus, I'll do all the work. See, this is nice. There's background music. I didn't set it to anything other than basic OPL, so it's nice. This is the library. It looks more like a church. You couldn't be more right. It was a church during the Crusades. Now, just before your father vanished, he was muttering something about Roman numerals. He said he'd searched everywhere for them without success. The library should be closing soon. I'll make sure we won't be bothered. Then we can take a look around. Excuse me, sir. Pardon me. Gosh, he's really dedicated to his stamping. Hey, you! I doubt he'll be much trouble, Dr. Schneider. Huh. So they've given Schneider the Sophia Hapgood role for the duration of this. So I guess we can't talk to the stamping man, which is unfortunate. But hey, let's wander over here to the stacks. Good use of lighting here, but again, the lack of music. I'm just repeating myself at this point. I'm gonna leave it here, not because it's a bad game. It looks to be following the movie roughly beat by beat, which is nice. What is it? I mean, it's a classic old Lucasfilms point-and-click adventure game. And it differs from the later LucasArts point-and-click adventure games. Fans of the genre know the difference, just by looking at it, between, say, a Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle, and between a Last Crusade and Fate of Atlantis. This is antiquated. You know, there are certain things about it that just don't hold up. But if you can get past those, then there is an interesting looking adventure game with some sharp writing and a likeable protagonist in here. It's just whether you can get past all the little niggling problems, whether it be the issues with the combat, which is all numpad based, whether it's the lack of mouse over hints, whether it's the fact that some of the puzzles are exceedingly obtuse right from the get-go. If you can get past those, there's a really good point-and-click adventure game in here, I think, and I'd recommend it to fans of the genre, with that big asterisk in place. And if you like me talking about DOS games, I do it hundreds of times, all genres. Feel free to take a look at all my other videos, and if you like what you see there, you can subscribe. And if you really, really like me, I mean really like me, and watch all my stuff, patronage via Patreon is an option, like these fine people here have done. So yeah, The Last Crusade. It's no Fate of Atlantis, and that's unfortunate. I wish it had been remade, so that it was more like Fate of Atlantis, but unfortunately, it hasn't. So you just have to make do with what you've got here. There's a good game in here, but you'll have to fight to find it. Until next time.